The haunting cries of the little girl reverberated through the stark, sterile hospital corridors, each tearful wail slicing through the stillness with a heart-wrenching intensity. Her tiny frame shook with uncontrollable sobs, and her tear-streaked face was a portrait of sheer terror and sorrow. With wide, pleading eyes brimming with unspoken fear, she turned desperately to Doctor Rachel, her voice trembling as she implored, "Please, I don't want to go with him. Don't let him take me away." The stepfather, looming beside her with a shadowy and unsettling demeanor, waited with a cold, detached impatience. Dr. Rachel, a seasoned pediatrician accustomed to the myriad of emotions children display, had never encountered such a profound and anguished plea. Her professional instincts roared in alarm, sensing a dark and dreadful undercurrent. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. I want to stay here. I'm scared to go with him. The girl's voice broke through her sobs, laden with raw desperation. She clung to Dr. Rachel with a fervent grip, her eyes screaming for sanctuary from an unseen but profoundly menacing threat. The palpable urgency and the overwhelming dread in the child's voice compelled Rachel to take immediate, covert action. Driven by an unsettling premonition, she discreetly followed the stepfather and the trembling girl to their home. What awaited her there was a chilling revelation that left her paralyzed with fear, as the gravity of the situation unfolded in the most horrifying manner imaginable. Welcome to this emotional journey. Please enjoy, subscribe, and activate notifications to stay updated. Rachel was an unwavering source of solace and support within the frenetic environment of the bustling pediatric ward at the expansive public hospital. Renowned for her boundless dedication and profound compassion, she often extended her 9-hour shifts to manage emergencies and provide comfort to her young patients. Her days commenced in the children's rooms, where she meticulously assessed their conditions, adjusted treatments, reviewed test results, and orchestrated discharges. Her unshakable commitment was matched only by her deep connection with Dr. Thomas, the head of the pediatric department and a distinguished expert in congenital lung diseases. When he wasn't immersed in performing complex surgeries, Thomas devoted himself to pioneering research in his specialized field. Despite their demanding schedules, they always managed to carve out moments to reconnect, whether over swift lunches at local eateries or during brief coffee breaks. Thomas had admired Rachel's dedication and intellect since their college days when he was her professor. Their mutual passion for pediatrics bound them together, though their overlapping schedules seldom permitted time for socializing beyond the hospital's walls. Next month, there's an important conference on congenital lung diseases, Thomas announced one day, his eyes reflecting both anticipation and hope. He urged her to participate, aware of how such events could enhance their shared mission. "That's wonderful news. I'll do my best to adjust my schedule to be there," Rachel responded, her voice brimming with enthusiasm and anticipation for the opportunity. Indeed, it's vital to elevate awareness about these conditions in children. Many require surgeries that, regrettably, are often delayed or denied due to inadequate diagnosis, Thomas remarked, his voice thick with concern for the many children who suffer due to gaps in medical care. "I'll do everything I can to be there," Rachel assured with a hopeful smile. "I just hope the hospital runs smoothly in my absence. Rest assured, we'll make sure everything is covered. While not everyone can attend, we'll rally the team. Pediatricians and pulmonologists must grasp the significance of this event. But you, Rachel, especially need to be there. It's pivotal for your specialization," Thomas said, his voice filled with encouragement. With that, he departed to attend to his duties. Rachel, her heart alight with eagerness to deepen her understanding, bade him farewell with enthusiasm. Her passion for studying lung diseases was palpable, a fervor that had been nurtured since her childhood. Her mother, a highly esteemed pulmonologist, had instilled in her a profound appreciation for the complexities of the human body, with a special focus on the lungs. This early exposure to the field had left an indelible mark on Rachel's professional journey. As another demanding day drew to a close and Rachel was preparing to leave the hospital, she crossed paths with Dr. Sarah, who was just beginning her night shift. Sarah, known for her pragmatic and often critical demeanor, frequently took issue with Rachel's deep emotional involvement with her patients. "You get too emotionally invested, Rachel. Remember, the children have their parents to look after them," Sarah would often remark, her tone laced with a critical edge. But Rachel found it impossible to be merely a detached physician. Driven by the empathy she had inherited from her mother, she firmly believed that forging a genuine connection with her young patients was an integral part of their care. Sarah's frequent criticisms, while sometimes grating, did little to deter Rachel's commitment to her compassionate approach, which she considered essential to her role as a healer. "You need to focus more on your work. Your closeness with the children might be misinterpreted by their parents," Sarah commented, her voice laced with an acrid edge. "Why, Sarah? Everyone has their approach to their work, regardless of their profession. I'm not violating any hospital policies. What exactly are you afraid of?" Rachel shot back, her tone steady despite the sting of Sarah's criticism. Sarah's tendency to criticize and make biting remarks seemed to be a constant, and Rachel was growing weary of it. "Afraid? Don't be absurd, Rachel. I'm just heading to my shift, and thankfully, I won't have to deal with your drama in the halls today," Sarah retorted, her face contorted with distaste. She hurried away, eager to escape further confrontation. The interactions between Dr. Rachel and Sarah had become a series of unavoidable clashes, each encounter charged with tension. Sarah seized every chance to launch pointed criticisms, and while Rachel initially found these encounters deeply distressing, often leaving her in tears and questioning her place at the hospital, she struggled to understand the root of Sarah's animosity. The pervasive hostility made Rachel question whether she could continue in an environment where such negativity seemed so entrenched. One day, a seasoned nurse, who had witnessed countless dramas and heartbreaks unfold within the hospital's bustling corridors, finally shared a poignant insight with Rachel. This nurse, known for her keen observations and deep understanding of the hospital's dynamics, revealed the real reason behind Sarah's bitter behavior. To Rachel's surprise, the root of Sarah's hostility was not rooted in professional disagreements or genuine criticism, but rather in sheer envy. Rachel's natural friendliness and the boundless affection she lavished on every child she encountered had cast a long shadow over Sarah's more reserved and often cynical demeanor. The nurse's revelation was a turning point for Rachel, fundamentally altering her perception of Sarah's behavior. Armed with this new understanding, Rachel made a conscious decision to conserve her energy and avoid falling into the trap of endless, emotionally draining confrontations fueled by Sarah's jealousy. Determined to make sense of the situation, Rachel sought counsel from Dr. Thomas, her friend and mentor, who had long been a pillar of support and guidance in her professional life. When Rachel aired her frustrations and concerns, Thomas corroborated the nurse's observations with a deeper explanation. He explained that Rachel's undeniable popularity, particularly her extraordinary ability to connect with and comfort the children, had inadvertently highlighted Sarah's perceived shortcomings. The children, in their innocent and unfiltered way, gravitated toward Rachel, viewing her as their preferred doctor and confidante. This overwhelming affection from the young patients had made Sarah feel undervalued and overshadowed, leading her to question the significance and impact of her work as a pediatrician. Thomas's words struck a chord with Rachel, prompting her to reflect profoundly on her role and the emotional weight it carried. As Rachel pondered these revelations, she found herself immersed in a deep, introspective contemplation that extended well beyond the confines of her shift. The realization that Sarah's criticism stemmed from envy rather than genuine professional critique provided a new lens through which to view her interactions with the critical colleague. Rachel took a long, deliberate breath before heading home, her mind abuzz with thoughts about the most demanding aspects of her role. She had always been acutely aware of the physical demands of her job: long hours, the relentless pace, and the constant need for vigilance. However, she came to recognize that the true challenge lay not merely in the physical exhaustion, but in the profound mental and emotional fatigue associated with being the emotional anchor for her young patients and their families. Especially when tasked with delivering heartbreaking news, Rachel's deep-seated empathy often amplified the emotional toll she endured. Rachel's reflections led her to understand that her role was not solely about healing bodies, but also about managing and supporting the emotional well-being of those she served. This dual responsibility, while immensely rewarding, was also emotionally taxing. She carried the weight of each child's fears, hopes, and sorrows, and the emotional burden of being a compassionate presence in moments of distress added a layer of complexity to her professional journey. With renewed resolve, Rachel embraced her role with a deeper understanding of its emotional demands, vowing to continue offering her unwavering support while safeguarding her well-being. Upon arriving home after another grueling day at the hospital, Rachel was greeted by the comforting, familiar scene of her father, Samuel, settled on the sofa, engrossed in his nightly ritual of reading his Bible. The soft, welcoming aroma of homemade food filled the house, a testament to Samuel's love for cooking. Every evening, he meticulously prepared the meal himself, eagerly awaiting Rachel's return so they could share dinner. His devotion to cooking was as steadfast as his dedication to spending quality time with his daughter, and this daily routine was a cherished tradition for both. As Rachel stepped into the warm embrace of her home, she felt a wave of relief and comfort. She made her way to the living room, where Samuel looked up from his reading with a smile that spoke volumes of his unconditional support. "Guess what, Dad?" Rachel said with a bright, hopeful tone, as if Samuel was already privy to the exciting news she was about to share. "What did Dr. Sarah do this time?" Samuel chuckled, his voice tinged with the affectionate humor he always used to deflect Rachel's work-related frustrations. "Oh, you know how it is with Sarah," Rachel replied with a playful grin. "She finds something to criticize every day. It's like clockwork. But today, something amazing happened. Dr. Thomas told me there's going to be a conference on congenital lung diseases next month. I'm so thrilled about it." Samuel's face lit up with genuine enthusiasm, his eyes sparkling with pride and shared joy. He was deeply invested in Rachel's happiness, often expressing that her successes and excitement were his own. This sentiment had always been a cornerstone of their relationship, and it was especially comforting to Rachel as she recounted her day's events. The bond they shared, anchored in mutual support and love, provided a sense of solace and rejuvenation before she headed to bed. As they sat together, savoring the delicious meal Samuel had prepared, their conversation flowed effortlessly. Rachel felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that, despite the challenges she faced at work, she could always come home to her father's unwavering support and the warmth of their shared moments. Samuel's empathy and joy in her accomplishments were a balm for Rachel's weary soul, and the evening's simple, yet profound connection offered her a much-needed reprieve from the emotional demands of her day. The following morning, as Rachel arrived at the bustling hospital, she was quickly briefed on a new and urgent situation. A young girl with a severe lung condition had been admitted overnight and had undergone a delicate surgery performed by Dr. Thomas. Rachel's heart skipped a beat as she reviewed the patient's chart, a surge of anxiety tightening her chest. Determined to assess the situation firsthand, she made her way to the intensive care unit ICU. Upon entering the corridor leading to the ICU, Rachel noticed a man standing near the waiting area. His clothes were worn and dirt-streaked, his demeanor marked by a grave and wary expression. His appearance and the intensity of his gaze spoke volumes of the burden he carried. "Hello, good morning," Rachel greeted him warmly, her voice imbued with compassion and reassurance. "I'm Dr. "Rachel, and I'll be overseeing your daughter's care from now on." The man's silence lingered a heavy pause that seemed to stretch as he absorbed her words. Rachel continued with a gentle explanation. "Emily is recovering well from her surgery. She's in a stable condition, but she will need to remain hospitalized for a few more days for her recovery." The man, who introduced himself as John, Emily's stepfather, finally spoke. His voice, though cold and distant, carried an undercurrent of deep worry. "She only has me. I need to work and can't stay here all the time," he said, his words laden with the stress and exhaustion of his situation. Rachel sensed the weight of John's predicament. She could see the concern etched into his face and the weariness in his eyes. His need to balance work responsibilities with the care of his stepdaughter was palpable. She offered him a reassuring smile, hoping to provide some comfort amidst the uncertainty. "Don't worry, John. We'll take good care of Emily. You can check in with us as often as you like, and we'll keep you updated on her progress. If there's anything specific you need or any questions you have, please let us know," Rachel said, her tone both empathetic and encouraging. John nodded, his expression softening slightly as he processed her reassurances. He looked at Rachel with a mixture of relief and continued anxiety, clearly torn between his responsibilities and his concern for Emily. Rachel's heart went out to him, recognizing the emotional and logistical challenges he faced. She knew that while her professional role was to provide medical care, part of her job was also to offer emotional support to both patients and their families during such trying times. "Don't worry, John. She's in good hands. Our skilled team will keep you updated on any changes in Emily's condition," Rachel reassured him, her voice steady and comforting. Despite John's hurried departure, which struck Rachel as somewhat unusual, she chose to redirect her focus entirely to Emily's well-being. After John left, Rachel turned her full attention to the young patient before her. The sight of Emily, frail and pale, struck Rachel with a profound sense of urgency. The girl's emaciated frame spoke of significant hardship, each visible rib and delicate bone telling a story of struggle. Her skin, ghostly white, highlighted her alarming fragility, and Rachel's concern deepened. Emily lay in the bed with an almost eerie calmness on her face. The stillness of her features and the serene expression seemed to be the result of sheer exhaustion rather than peaceful rest. Her body was motionless, and the labored rhythm of her breathing was painfully evident, each breath appearing to be a monumental effort. The deep silence that surrounded her was heavy, as though even speaking would be a daunting task for her. Rachel leaned closer, her heart aching at the sight of the young girl's struggle. She gently asked, "Are you okay, sweetheart?" Her voice was soft, meant to break through the silence with warmth and reassurance. Emily responded with a faint, hesitant smile, an attempt to convey that she was aware of Rachel's presence and understood her concern. As Rachel watched, Emily's eyes gradually fluttered closed, the weight of her eyelids seeming almost too much to bear. Slowly, her breathing eased into a more rhythmic pattern, signaling her descent into a much-needed deep sleep. The scene felt surreal to Rachel, like a poignant moment in a film where the protagonist, though on the verge of speaking, is enveloped by an all-encompassing silence. Rachel took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of the moment press heavily on her shoulders. She knew that despite the emotional weight of the scene, there was a long and demanding day ahead. As she composed herself, Rachel reminded herself of the resilience required to navigate the challenges of her profession, finding solace in her role as a caregiver and advocate for her patients. Later that day, Rachel's routine was interrupted by the arrival of Emily's additional test results. To her growing alarm, she discovered that Emily not only had a serious lung condition, but also suffered from a rare immune disorder that rendered her highly susceptible to fungal infections. The gravity of this new diagnosis intensified Rachel's concerns, compelling her to address the situation with both urgency and sensitivity. She decided it was crucial to discuss Emily's deteriorating state and John's erratic behavior with Dr. Thomas Paulbus. Upon arriving at the hospital, Rachel learned that John had returned to check on Emily. Feeling a surge of responsibility and concern, Rachel, along with Dr. Thomas, swiftly made their way to Emily's room. As they entered, Rachel greeted John with a calm and composed demeanor. "Good afternoon, Mr. John," she said, her voice steady and reassuring. John's eyes, filled with a mixture of fatigue and worry, locked onto Rachel. "How is Emily?" he inquired, his voice betraying a hint of anxiety and apprehension. Rachel took a deep breath before responding, her tone both gentle and informative. "Emily is currently recovering under the effects of pain medication. However, one of the test results came back indicating an additional complication. Emily has a rare immune condition that significantly impedes her recovery and necessitates continuous monitoring here at the hospital." John's expression grew troubled as he processed the information. "What condition?" he asked, his tone reflecting a mixture of confusion and concern, as though this news was unexpectedly harsh. Dr. Thomas, who had been quietly observing the exchange, stepped forward to provide further clarity. "Emily has been diagnosed with a rare disorder that leaves her exceptionally vulnerable to fungal infections. This complicates her situation considerably, as her weakened immune system requires rigorous protection and careful management to prevent any additional complications." John's face registered deepening anxiety, his shoulders slumping as the weight of the new information sank in. Rachel and Dr. Thomas shared a glance, both recognizing the need to support John through this emotionally charged moment. Rachel, with her innate empathy, prepared to offer reassurance and guidance, fully aware of the emotional and logistical challenges John would face in the days ahead. The gravity of Emily's condition loomed over the room, the air thick with unspoken worries. Rachel and Dr. Thomas were committed to navigating this difficult path with care and transparency, ensuring that John was not only informed but also supported as they moved forward in Emily's treatment. "I didn't know about this condition. I only know that Emily needs to be with me. The hospital is too far from my work," John said, his voice marked by an uneasy discomfort as he shifted his gaze, avoiding Rachel's penetrating stare. Rachel observed John's anxiety increase with the mention of the immune condition. His behavior struck her as peculiar, although his argument about the distance from the hospital seemed logical. Something about his demeanor and the urgency in his voice made her uneasy. Determined to uncover the truth behind Emily's living situation and ensure her safety, Rachel decided to follow them discreetly as they left the hospital. Rachel kept her distance, carefully trailing John and Emily through the streets. The contrast between the hospital's sterile environment and the rundown neighborhood they entered was stark and jarring. The area was marked by crumbling buildings, overgrown weeds, and discarded debris. Stray dogs roamed, and the air was thick with the stench of neglect and decay. Rachel's heart sank as she took in the surroundings, feeling a growing sense of dread. As they approached their destination, Rachel's anxiety mounted. They arrived at a dilapidated house, its paint peeling and windows broken. The home stood out as a bleak symbol of poverty and disrepair. Rachel's concern for Emily grew more intense with each passing moment. Her intuition told her that this environment was far from ideal for a child recovering from surgery, particularly one with a fragile immune system. Rachel carefully observed as John guided Emily into the house. She took a deep breath and moved closer, peering through a crack in the door. What she saw inside confirmed her worst fears. The interior of the house was in complete disarray, filled with heaps of garbage, rotting food, and piles of unwashed clothing. The air was heavy with a musty odor, making it clear that the living conditions were both unsanitary and unsafe. It was immediately apparent that this environment was ill-suited for a child in Emily's condition. Rachel's heart ached as she took in the grim reality of Emily's living situation. The house was far from the safe, clean environment that any child, especially one in Emily's delicate state, would need for proper recovery. The more Rachel observed, the more she felt a profound sense of urgency to act. It was clear that John's behavior, combined with the appalling conditions, suggested potential neglect or even abuse. Determined to protect Emily and ensure her well-being, Rachel made the difficult decision to involve the authorities. She promptly contacted Child Protection Services, providing them with detailed information about the unsafe living conditions and expressing her deep concerns about Emily's health and safety. The authorities responded quickly, arranging a visit to Emily's home to assess the situation. The intervention of Child Protection Services was swift and decisive. They arrived at the house and conducted a thorough investigation of the living conditions. The findings confirmed Rachel's worst fears: the environment was hazardous and unfit for a child recovering from surgery. Emily was removed from the unsafe environment and placed in a protective care facility that offered a safe, clean, and supportive environment for her recovery. Rachel felt a deep sense of relief and satisfaction knowing that Emily was now in a place where she could receive the medical care and emotional support she needed. The protective care facility provided a nurturing atmosphere where Emily's health could be closely monitored, and her recovery could proceed without the added burden of a harmful living environment. As Rachel left the hospital that day, she reflected on the challenging journey that had led her to take action. Her dedication to her patients, combined with her unwavering commitment to their well-being, made a significant difference in Emily's life. Rachel's experience served as a powerful reminder of the impact that compassion and vigilance can have in protecting the vulnerable and ensuring their safety and health. Rachel continued to closely monitor Emily's progress with a sense of profound relief and satisfaction. Knowing that Emily was now under the care of a protective facility brought her immense comfort. The experience deeply enriched Rachel's understanding of her role as a pediatrician, highlighting the critical importance of vigilance, advocacy, and compassion in her daily practice. Her unwavering empathy and determination had made a significant difference in Emily's life, reinforcing Rachel's dedication to ensuring the well-being of her young patients. The case served as a poignant reminder of the myriad challenges and responsibilities that healthcare professionals face. It underscored the profound impact that a compassionate approach can have on a child's life, even amidst adversity. Rachel took great pride in knowing that she had made a positive impact despite the obstacles she encountered along the way. It was a testament to the vital role she played in her patients' lives and the meaningful difference that attentive, empathetic care could make. Returning home that evening, Rachel found solace in her father's familiar presence. Samuel, a pillar of strength and wisdom in her life, was comfortably seated on the sofa, absorbed in his evening ritual of reading the Bible. The comforting aroma of homemade food wafted through the house, a reminder of the warmth and stability that Samuel had always provided. He had been a steadfast supporter throughout Rachel's career, often offering guidance and reassurance during challenging times. As Rachel settled into her usual spot on the sofa beside her father, she began to share the day's events with him, her voice tinged with both relief and contemplation. Samuel listened intently, his expression a mix of pride and concern. "I think you've done an incredible job," Samuel said softly, his voice carrying a blend of encouragement and fatherly concern. "Sometimes we have to accept our limits and focus on helping in the best way we can. It's not always easy, but it's the essence of what we do." Rachel absorbed her father's words with a deep sense of appreciation. Samuel's wisdom, derived from years of experience and reflection, resonated profoundly with her. His insight into the necessity of balancing professional dedication with personal boundaries was both comforting and enlightening. "You've shown so much care and dedication," Samuel continued, his tone serious yet gentle. "Helping Emily while respecting her privacy and her family's space is crucial. What you need to know will come to you at the right time. Trust in the process, my daughter." His hand rested gently on hers, offering both physical and emotional comfort. Rachel felt a deep sense of gratitude for her father's unwavering support. His presence was a steady anchor amidst the complexities of her professional life. The conversation ended with an unspoken understanding of the strength that came from family support and the certainty that Samuel would always be there to guide and support her in whatever challenges lay ahead. As Rachel prepared for bed, she reflected on the day's events and her father's wisdom. The reassurance from Samuel gave her a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. She knew that the journey of caring for her patients would continue to be filled with both challenges and rewards, but with the support of her family and her steadfast commitment, she felt ready to face whatever came next. Rachel awoke early the next morning, a sense of urgency tugging at her even before her eyes fully opened. Her father's reassuring words from the night before were still fresh in her mind, but the gnawing worry about Emily's condition kept her from finding any peace. With a restless heart and a determined spirit, she swiftly prepared for the day and headed back to the hospital, driven by a profound need to ensure the girl's well-being. Arriving at the hospital, Rachel was met by a wave of anxiety as the nurses informed her of a grave situation. Emily had experienced a severe medical crisis during the night. The young girl's condition had deteriorated significantly, and to Rachel's dismay, John, the stepfather, had been unreachable, his phone calls unanswered and his whereabouts unknown. Rachel's heart sank at this distressing news. The situation grew even more perplexing and concerning when the nurses relayed that a woman, who appeared disheveled and neglected, with unkempt blonde hair and worn clothes, had shown up at the hospital claiming to be Emily's mother. The woman had made a brief, hurried visit before disappearing almost as quickly as she had arrived. This development only added to Rachel's unease. The woman's sudden appearance and disappearance, coupled with the ongoing health crisis, painted a troubling picture. Without a moment's hesitation, Rachel dashed to Emily's room. Her anxiety intensified with each step. When she arrived, the sight before her was heart-wrenching. Emily lay in her bed, struggling to breathe, her fragile body visibly fighting for each breath. The nurse stationed by her side was attempting to offer comfort, but the situation was dire, and Rachel knew immediate action was necessary. Rachel's breath caught in her throat as she approached the bed. The room seemed to close in around her, amplifying the urgency of the moment. She gently but swiftly took over from the nurse, her hands moving with practiced precision as she assessed Emily's condition. The girl's labored breathing was a stark reminder of the severity of her situation, and Rachel's heart ached for the child she had come to care for so deeply. "Hang in there," Rachel whispered soothingly, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. "We're going to get you through this." Rachel's mind raced as she quickly coordinated with the medical team. Orders were given for immediate interventions, and a flurry of activities surrounded Emily's bed. Rachel's focus was razor-sharp, each action driven by the urgency of the situation and her unwavering commitment to the girl's recovery. The hospital staff worked with relentless efficiency, but Rachel couldn't shake the feeling of dread. The missing stepfather and the mysterious appearance of a woman claiming to be Emily's mother weighed heavily on her mind. She felt a pressing need to uncover the truth behind these unsettling developments, but right now her primary concern was stabilizing Emily. As the minutes ticked by, Rachel remained at Emily's side, her eyes never leaving the girl's pale face. She monitored every change in Emily's condition, her thoughts racing as she hoped and prayed for the best outcome. Her dedication to her young patient was a testament to the depth of her compassion and her determination to provide the best care possible. Amid the chaos, Rachel's resolve only strengthened. She knew that whatever obstacles lay ahead, she would face them with the same unwavering dedication that had guided her throughout her career. Her focus remained on Emily, ensuring that every possible measure was taken to secure the girl's safety and well-being. The intensity of the situation only underscored the challenges Rachel faced daily. Each case was a reminder of the fragile line between life and death and the profound responsibility she carried as a pediatrician. Despite the fear and uncertainty, Rachel remained a beacon of hope for Emily, her commitment to her patient unwavering as she navigated the complexities of the crisis with grace and determination. "Emily, my dear, what happened?" Rachel asked urgently, her voice filled with concern as she knelt beside the girl's bed. Emily's eyes, wide with fear, flickered between Rachel and the chaotic scene unfolding around her. "It was my mother," Emily said weakly, her voice trembling. "She wanted to take me with her. I don't want to leave here, doctor. Please, don't let her take me." Rachel's heart sank at the girl's desperation. She placed a soothing hand on Emily's forehead, trying to calm her. "Shh, Emily, you're safe here. I won't let anyone take you away from the care you need," she reassured her. With a deep breath, Rachel stepped out of the room and immediately called John. Her mind was racing with concern as she reported the incident. She explained that a woman had come to the hospital claiming to be Emily's mother and that Emily had had an anxiety attack as a result. John's voice crackled with tension over the phone, and he assured Rachel that he was on his way to the hospital. Within a short time, John arrived at the hospital. His face was a mask of irritation and anxiety. He stormed into the ward, his agitation palpable. "I want to transfer Emily to another hospital," he demanded, his voice tinged with frustration. Rachel approached him calmly, trying to diffuse the situation. "Please, Mr. John, let's try to stay calm. It's not necessary to transfer Emily right now. She's improving and will probably be discharged later today. The incident with the woman caused her anxiety. But we're managing it. Can you tell me more about the woman who came to see Emily? Is she her mother?" John's agitation seemed to escalate. "That's the least of our worries now. How could you let a stranger enter the hospital to see Emily without my permission? This is unacceptable." Rachel remained composed, her focus on addressing John's concerns while ensuring Emily's well-being. "I understand your concern, Mr. John. However, we can't interrupt Emily's medication and treatment at this stage. The treatment will conclude by the end of the afternoon, and her tests show she's stable enough to be discharged soon. We'll ensure that she's safe and well before she leaves the hospital." John's frustration was evident, but Rachel's calm demeanor and professional assurance seemed to slowly ease his agitation. He paced the room, rubbing his forehead in exasperation. "I just don't understand why this is happening. Emily's mother has been absent for a long time. Why would she show up now?" Rachel took a deep breath, carefully choosing her words. "We need to focus on Emily's immediate needs and ensure she receives the care she requires. It's important to discuss the situation with her mother, but right now our priority is to stabilize Emily and address her health issues." John nodded slowly, though his expression remained troubled. "Fine, but I want to know what's going on with that woman. I need to make sure Emily is safe." Rachel nodded in agreement. "We'll do everything we can to ensure Emily's safety and well-being. I'll keep you updated on her condition and any developments regarding her mother." As John left the room to cool down and gather his thoughts, Rachel returned to Emily's side. She could see the lingering fear in the girl's eyes and the exhaustion from the anxiety attack. Rachel gently adjusted Emily's blanket and reassured her with a soft, encouraging smile. "Everything will be okay," Emily, Rachel said, her voice soothing. "You're getting the best care here, and we're going to make sure you're safe and well taken care of." Emily managed a faint smile, her eyes slowly closing as she began to relax, comforted by Rachel's presence. The room was filled with a tense calm as Rachel continued to monitor Emily's condition, her mind still racing with concerns about the mysterious woman and John's erratic behavior. Throughout the afternoon, Rachel remained at Emily's side, her dedication unwavering as she coordinated with the medical team to ensure the girl's recovery. Her thoughts also drifted to the challenges of navigating the complexities of patient care and family dynamics, reflecting on the responsibilities she bore as a pediatrician. Rachel was determined to uncover the truth about Emily's family situation while ensuring that the girl received the best possible care. Her compassion and commitment to her patients were her guiding principles, and she was resolved to see Emily through this challenging time with all the support and attention she needed. John's face twisted with frustration as Rachel's offer sank in. He rubbed his temples, clearly agitated. "I didn't expect this to happen today. I have an urgent matter that I can't postpone. Can you delay Emily's discharge for another day? I really can't take her with me now." Rachel, caught off guard by John's request, felt a wave of unease. The urgency in his voice and the disheveled state of his appearance made her wary, but she was determined to find a solution that prioritized Emily's safety. "I can't extend her hospital stay for another day, but here's what I can offer," Rachel proposed cautiously. "I can take Emily to my home tonight and stay with her until tomorrow. That way, you can take care of your urgent matters, and Emily will be in a safe environment." John looked visibly relieved but skeptical. "You would do that? Why?" Rachel took a deep breath, her decision firm. "It's important to me that Emily is safe and well cared for. I can't extend her hospital stay, but I can ensure she's looked after properly. It's also an opportunity for me to build more trust with Emily and understand what's truly going on. Besides, if she stays here, there's a risk that you might suddenly come back and take her away before she's ready." John hesitated, his eyes darting between Rachel and Emily. Finally, he nodded, albeit reluctantly. "Fine, but I need to be here at the hospital for her discharge. Everything must be done correctly." "Understood," Rachel agreed. "I'll ensure that Emily is discharged properly and that all necessary procedures are followed. I'll also keep you updated on her condition and any developments." With that, John agreed to the plan. He was visibly uneasy, but Rachel's offer seemed to be the best compromise given the situation. She made sure that John understood the importance of his presence for Emily's discharge and informed him of the exact time he needed to be at the hospital. Later, Rachel arranged for Emily's discharge, carefully coordinating with the medical team to ensure all paperwork and procedures were in order. As the afternoon sun began to lower, Rachel prepared to leave the hospital with Emily. She packed a small bag for the girl, including essentials like clothes and toiletries, and made sure that Emily's medications and care instructions were documented. When John arrived at the hospital for the discharge, he appeared more composed but still carried an air of tension. Rachel greeted him and ensured that all necessary formalities were completed. She also took the opportunity to discuss Emily's care plan with him, emphasizing the importance of adhering to the prescribed treatment and follow-up appointments. As they left the hospital, Rachel drove Emily to her home, which was a cozy and welcoming environment in contrast to the unsettling scene she had witnessed earlier. She had prepared a comfortable guest room for Emily, stocked with books, toys, and a calming atmosphere to help the girl feel at ease. Upon arriving, Rachel settled Emily into the guest room and made sure she had everything she needed. She prepared a light, comforting meal and sat with Emily as they ate together. During their meal, Rachel tried to engage Emily in gentle conversation, hoping to build trust and make her feel safe. "You're going to be just fine," Rachel said softly, offering a warm smile. "We're going to take good care of you. If you need anything or just want to talk, I'm here." Emily looked at Rachel with a mixture of relief and curiosity. "Thank you, Doctor. Rachel. I feel safer here." Rachel nodded, her heart warmed by Emily's response. She spent the evening reading stories to Emily, providing comfort and companionship to help the girl feel more at home. As the night wore on, Rachel made sure Emily was settled comfortably and went over the care instructions once more. The next morning, Rachel woke early, preparing for another day of monitoring Emily's condition and making sure she was comfortable. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that her actions were making a significant difference in Emily's life. As Rachel carried out her plans, she remained vigilant, determined to uncover the full story behind Emily's situation while ensuring that the girl received the care and support she needed. The experience strengthened Rachel's resolve and deepened her commitment to her role as a pediatrician, reinforcing her belief in the importance of empathy and advocacy in her profession. Rachel and Emily left the hospital together, the evening air cool and calm. The drive to Rachel's home was quiet, with Emily resting in the passenger seat, occasionally glancing out the window as the city lights passed by. Rachel took this time to gather her thoughts, feeling a blend of anxiety and relief. She hoped that Emily's time in her home would provide some much-needed stability and comfort after the tumultuous events. Upon arriving at her house, Rachel was greeted by her father, Samuel, who had prepared the guest room as promised. Samuel, always the meticulous host, had adorned the room with soft, pastel colors and placed a few stuffed animals on the bed to make it inviting. He had even added a small nightlight to provide a gentle, reassuring glow. The room was cozy and warm, a stark contrast to the bleakness of Emily's previous surroundings. "Welcome home," Samuel said with a kind smile as he helped Rachel bring in Emily's belongings. "I hope you find this room comfortable." Emily's eyes widened at the sight of her new temporary space. "It's so nice," she whispered, her voice tinged with awe. "Thank you, Mr. Samuel." Samuel chuckled softly and patted her on the shoulder. "You're very welcome, dear. Make yourself at home." After settling Emily into her new room, Rachel prepared a simple dinner of soup and sandwiches, aiming for something soothing and easy on the stomach. They gathered in the kitchen, and as they ate, Rachel tried to engage Emily in light conversation. So Rachel began gently. "Do you have any favorite books or stories? We can read something together before bed if you'd like." Emily looked thoughtful for a moment before nodding. "I like fairy tales. They make me feel like everything will be okay." Rachel smiled and nodded. "Fairy tales it is. I'll pick out a few of my favorites, and we can read them together." After dinner, Rachel and Emily settled in the living room, where Rachel picked out a couple of classic fairy tales. Samuel, sensing that Emily might benefit from a bit of extra comfort, quietly retired to his study to give them some privacy. As they read, Rachel noticed Emily's shoulders relaxing and her expression softening. The gentle cadence of the story seemed to work like a balm on Emily's anxious heart. Rachel took care to read with warmth and expression, making the stories come alive for the young girl. Eventually, it was time for bed. Rachel helped Emily get ready, ensuring she was comfortable and had everything she needed. As Rachel tucked Emily in, she felt a pang of sadness for the girl's difficult circumstances, but also a deep sense of fulfillment knowing she could offer some respite. "Good night, Emily," Rachel said softly, smoothing the blankets. "I'll be right down the hall if you need anything." Emily's eyes sparkled with gratitude. "Good night, Dr. Rachel. Thank you for everything." Rachel stayed in the room for a few moments longer, watching as Emily's eyes fluttered closed. She quietly left the room, her heart full of both concern and hope. As she went downstairs, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment mixed with the uncertainty of what the future might hold for Emily. The following days at home were a delicate balance of care and observation. Rachel made sure to follow Emily's medical instructions meticulously, administering medication and keeping a close eye on her condition. She also continued to offer emotional support, helping Emily adjust to her new environment and providing a stable, nurturing presence. Samuel continued to be a supportive and understanding figure, offering his company and encouragement. He frequently checked in on Emily, bringing her small gifts like coloring books and crayons to help pass the time and brighten her spirits. Rachel's days were filled with a mix of hospital visits and home care. She kept in regular contact with Dr. Thomas, updating him on Emily's progress and discussing any concerns that arose. She was relieved to see Emily's condition gradually improve, with the girl showing signs of increased energy and a more positive outlook. During this time, Rachel also took the opportunity to learn more about Emily's background and the circumstances surrounding her family. She approached the situation with sensitivity, respecting Emily's privacy while seeking to understand the broader context of her life. Rachel's dedication to Emily's well-being extended beyond the immediate care. She worked closely with social services to ensure that Emily's long-term needs would be met and that she would have a stable and supportive environment moving forward. As Rachel reflected on the experience, she felt a renewed sense of purpose in her role as a pediatrician. The challenges and responsibilities she faced deepened her commitment to her patients and highlighted the importance of advocacy and empathy in her work. Rachel knew that despite the difficulties, she had made a positive impact on Emily's life, and that was a source of immense pride and satisfaction. The journey was far from over, but Rachel was prepared to face whatever came next with resilience and compassion. She was grateful for the support of her father and the guidance of her colleagues, and she remained steadfast in her mission to provide the best care possible for her young patients. As Rachel settled Emily into the guest room, she felt a deep sense of relief. The room, decorated in soft, calming colors with plush blankets and a small collection of storybooks, was designed to be a sanctuary from the chaos Emily had recently endured. Rachel knew how important it was to create a space where Emily could begin to feel secure and cared for. "Feel free to arrange things however you like," Rachel said with a reassuring smile. "And if you need anything at all, just let me know." Emily nodded, her eyes still wide but now reflecting a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, Dr. Rachel. It's nice here." Rachel spent a few moments helping Emily unpack her belongings and making sure she was comfortable. Samuel came in to check on them, carrying a tray with a cup of warm milk and some freshly baked cookies. "I thought you might like a little treat before bed," Samuel said gently, setting the tray on the bedside table. "It's a bit of a tradition here, nothing like a sweet to help you sleep." Emily's face lit up at the sight of the cookies, and she took one with a shy but genuine smile. "These look delicious." "Thank you, Mr. Samuel." "You're very welcome," Samuel replied, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "I hope you enjoy them." Rachel and Samuel left Emily to settle in, stepping quietly out of the room. They headed to the living room to discuss the events of the day and plan the next steps for Emily's care. "She seems to be adjusting well to the new surroundings," Rachel said, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and concern. "I hope this environment will give her some respite from everything she's been through." Samuel nodded in agreement. "It's wonderful that you're doing this for her. You've already made such a difference in her life." Rachel sighed deeply, feeling the weight of her responsibilities but also the satisfaction of knowing she was helping. "It's been a challenging day, but I'm glad we were able to get her out of that situation. I just hope she can start to feel safe and find some stability here." The next morning, Emily seemed more relaxed. Rachel had prepared a simple breakfast of oatmeal and fresh fruit, which they all enjoyed together. Samuel chatted with Emily about her favorite activities and interests, trying to make her feel at ease. After breakfast, Rachel arranged for a follow-up appointment with Dr. Thomas to review Emily's progress. She also contacted social services to ensure that Emily's situation was being addressed and that appropriate measures were in place for her long-term safety and well-being. Throughout the day, Rachel continued to provide Emily with support and encouragement, making sure she felt valued and cared for. Samuel offered his unwavering support, checking in on Emily and engaging her in light activities to keep her spirits up. As the days passed, Rachel observed positive changes in Emily. The girl began to open up more, sharing bits about her life and her dreams. Rachel noticed Emily's demeanor gradually shifting from anxiety to cautious optimism. Emily even started to participate in small activities, like drawing and reading, which helped her regain a sense of normalcy. The bond between Rachel and Emily grew stronger. Rachel made sure to listen to Emily's concerns and address them with compassion and understanding. She also continued to work closely with social services and medical professionals to ensure that Emily's needs were met and that her transition into a more stable environment was smooth. Samuel remained a constant source of support, providing a nurturing environment that helped Emily feel more secure. His patience and kindness made a significant impact, and Emily began to view the home as a haven. One evening, after a particularly heartfelt conversation with Emily about her hopes and dreams, Rachel felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She realized that, while the journey had been fraught with challenges, the positive changes in Emily's life were a testament to the importance of empathy and advocacy in her role as a pediatrician. Rachel's experience with Emily reinforced her belief in the power of compassion and the difference one person could make in another's life. She was grateful for the support of her father and the collaborative efforts of her colleagues, which enabled her to provide the best care for Emily. As Rachel prepared for another day at the hospital, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. She knew that there would always be challenges in her work, but she was ready to face them with resilience and hope, knowing that every small act of kindness and support could make a profound impact on the lives of those she cared for. As Emily began to eat, Rachel observed the girl's quiet enjoyment of the meal, noticing how each bite seemed to bring a momentary peace to her weary face. The simple act of providing a warm, nourishing dinner felt like a small victory in the larger struggle to offer Emily a semblance of normalcy and care. Samuel joined them at the table, and the atmosphere became more relaxed. He shared light-hearted stories and engaged Emily in conversation, aiming to make her feel more at ease. Despite Emily's initial hesitance, she gradually opened up, her laughter mingling with the gentle clinks of cutlery. As they finished dinner, Rachel prepared a small container of leftovers for Emily to take home. Samuel packed it carefully, ensuring it was well sealed and easy for Emily to carry. "I hope this helps," Samuel said kindly, handing the container to Emily. "Take it with you, and make sure you have something to eat later." Emily's eyes glistened with gratitude as she accepted the container. "Thank you. This means a lot to me." Rachel watched as Emily's demeanor softened with each gesture of kindness. The evening had been a poignant reminder of the impact of simple acts of compassion. She knew that Emily had been through so much, and these small comforts were a way to show her that she was valued and cared for. After dinner, Rachel and Samuel led Emily to her room, where she prepared for bed. Rachel gently tucked her in, and before leaving, she offered a few words of reassurance. "Emily, you've been so brave. Remember, you're safe here, and you can trust that we're doing everything we can to help you. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." Emily nodded, her eyes already heavy with sleep. "Thank you, Doctor. Rachel. I feel better here." Rachel smiled softly, hoping that Emily's dreams would be more peaceful than the ones she had known recently. She and Samuel quietly left the room, closing the door softly behind them. In the quiet of the living room, Rachel and Samuel reflected on the day's events. The sense of purpose and accomplishment they felt was tempered by the ongoing concern for Emily's well-being. Rachel's mind was filled with questions about Emily's past and the circumstances that had led her to this point. She knew that the road ahead would involve continued support and vigilance, but for now, she was grateful for the small steps toward improvement. The following morning, Rachel made sure Emily had a nutritious breakfast before she left. Samuel had prepared a special meal, and Rachel took the opportunity to check in with Emily, ensuring she was comfortable and ready for the day. "I'll take you back to the hospital later," Rachel said, her tone both supportive and practical. "We have an appointment with Dr. Thomas to review your progress and discuss the next steps." Emily nodded, her resolve strengthened by the stability she had experienced over the past day. Rachel hoped that the temporary sanctuary they had provided would help Emily regain some strength and confidence. As Rachel and Samuel prepared for their day, Rachel remained determined to uncover more about Emily's situation and to ensure her safety and well-being. The experience reinforced her commitment to her role and her dedication to advocating for her patients, no matter the challenges they faced. In the weeks that followed, Rachel continued to work closely with Emily's case, collaborating with social services and ensuring that Emily received the care and support she needed. The bond between Rachel and Emily grew stronger, and Emily's health and outlook improved steadily. Rachel's father, Samuel, continued to be a pillar of support, providing a stable environment that helped Emily feel secure. Together, Rachel and Samuel worked to create a nurturing space for Emily, one where she could begin to heal and build a brighter future. Through it all, Rachel remained inspired by Emily's resilience and the impact of their combined efforts. The journey had been challenging, but the rewards of making a positive difference in someone's life were profound. Rachel's dedication to her profession and her compassion for her patients had once again proven to be a powerful force for change and healing. After breakfast, Rachel gathered up the food and carefully packed it into containers for Emily to take home. Samuel joined them in the kitchen, offering his support and preparing extra portions to ensure Emily would have enough for later. As they packed, Emily shyly asked, "Could I maybe take a little more of the food? Just in case." Rachel, understanding the gravity of Emily's situation, packed additional food, her heart aching at the thought of Emily's likely hunger at home. "Of course, Emily. We want you to have everything you need," she assured her, making sure the containers were filled generously. When everything was ready, Rachel and Samuel walked Emily to the door, each gesture infused with a quiet wish for her well-being. "Remember, Emily, you can always come back here if you need anything," Rachel said, her voice gentle yet firm. Emily's eyes shone with gratitude as she took the containers. "Thank you so much for everything. I've never felt so cared for." Rachel's heart swelled with mixed emotions, sorrow for Emily's past and hope for her future. As Emily left, Rachel and Samuel watched her walk away, their hearts heavy yet hopeful. Back inside, Rachel and Samuel resumed their day, but the impact of the previous evening lingered. They discussed Emily's situation and planned ways they could continue to support her, whether through additional resources or simply by being there for her. Rachel's commitment to Emily remained strong. She knew that while she had made a positive impact, there was still much work to be done. She resolved to continue advocating for Emily's needs and to provide support in any way possible. As the days passed, Rachel maintained close contact with Emily and the relevant authorities, ensuring that the girl was receiving appropriate care and support. Emily's progress was steady, and she began to open up more about her past, sharing glimpses of her experiences and hopes for the future. Rachel also worked with social services to ensure that Emily's environment would be safer and more supportive. She collaborated with them to address the issues in Emily's home and to explore options for providing a more stable and nurturing environment for the girl. Throughout this process, Samuel remained a steadfast support, helping Rachel navigate the complexities of the situation and offering emotional encouragement. His presence was a constant reminder of the power of compassion and the importance of standing up for those who are vulnerable. In time, Emily's life began to reflect the care and support she had received from Rachel and Samuel. She became more confident and hopeful, her interactions showing a growing sense of security and trust. Rachel found immense satisfaction in seeing the positive changes in Emily, knowing that her efforts had made a tangible difference in the girl's life. Rachel's dedication to her work was renewed through this experience. She continued to approach her role with empathy and determination, inspired by the resilience and courage of her young patients. The case of Emily had been a profound journey, reinforcing Rachel's belief in the importance of advocacy and the impact of genuine care and support. In the end, Rachel realized that while the path had been challenging, the journey had also been one of growth and fulfillment. Emily's story was a testament to the power of kindness, and the difference that one person's actions can make in the life of another. Thank you for joining us on this emotional and impactful journey with Emily and Rachel. Through their story, we've seen the profound difference compassion and vigilance can make in someone's life. From the challenges Emily faced to the unwavering support Rachel provided, this experience highlights the importance of empathy and advocacy. We'd love to hear from you. What's one key lesson you've learned from this story that you'll bring into your own life? Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and found it meaningful, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support helps us continue to bring important and inspiring stories to our community. Thank you for watching.